Welcome back to Clegg's Adventures. Today we're in a small creek, or a run as it's known as. And we're going to be looking for ancient arrowheads today. And I'm going to explain to you and show you just how these arrowheads are getting down into these creeks. Stay with me. And what I'm looking for when I look for a creek to hunt, I look for these small streams. It doesn't have to be a big stream, as long as it cuts through some flat land. People would have lived here for thousands of years, and I'm going to explain to you just how these arrowheads are getting into these creeks. We got our first find right here on this gravel bar, and these gravel bars are where I find most of my artifacts in these creeks. Look right over here. There's a piece of an old plate or something right there. Can you see it? Laying flat out. Nice little dart point. I'm not real sure the type on that. It has just been sharpened down to the point where there's no characteristics really left of it to tell what it is. It's totally depleted. It's not a bad little point though. Let me show you one way of how these arrowheads end up down in this creek and on these gravel bars. Now you see all this flat land here? People would have been living there for thousands of years. It's hard to tell how many people just lived in that one little spot right there. These creeks will flow in one direction for a long time, and then maybe a tree grows up right there, a huge giant tree, and when it dies it falls over and it starts packing all the leaves and sticks up around the tree. Well, now the water wants to go up around the tree, and it goes across where people were living, and it slowly eats that dirt away, leaving all the stone in its tracks. I want to show you another way that arrowheads get washed into the creek, and this is the most common way if you have a creek that you're searching all the time. When this creek is up and it's running hard, it snakes around these turns fast, and it eats away at these banks. You can see this dirt getting eroded right here. And there's a good 4 or 5 feet here of earth that is eaten away into these flat areas up above. And there's stones coming out of here, as you can see right in here. And anything that was lost over time and it's in that ground is going to get washed out and flow down this creek here and lay on these gravel bars. And like I say, that's where I find most of the stuff, because you can't really search these really big deep holes unless you got some kind of a scoop and a sifter. And a sifter in the creeks around here in northern West Virginia, they don't work so well because the creeks are all full of sandstone and it just fills your sifter up. There's nothing here really to sift. Now I have another point laying right down here. Now I don't know if it came out of this bank here or if it washed down the creek from above. Now a lot of these points, they'll travel down these creeks a little ways, probably until they hit one of those deep holes and they get stuck down in there. But look right over here. I marked it with this stick so I wouldn't lose it. Right here, can you see it? It's broken. Would have been something very large. Really hard to tell what that would have been, seeing that the top's broken off of it there. I'm not really sure on that. It's a very crude made point, and it looks like it's made out of Kanawha black chert from West Virginia. Kind of gritty stuff. And if you do walk these creeks for arrowheads, looking for arrowheads, and you don't find anything the first time, don't give up, because this gravel here is very thick, and every time that water rushes or the creek flows high, it turns this stuff over. So it's like a fresh hunt every time. So don't give up, keep going back there and looking. I've got the oddest little arrow tip laying out down here that I've ever found. I want you to look at this. It's definitely an arrowhead, as small as it is, but it's odd shaped. It almost takes on the characteristics of a 9,000-year-old dovetail knife. I want you to look at this. It's right here. It looks like an actual little dovetail arrowhead. Look at this. It takes on the characteristics, like I say, of like a 9,000-year-old knife blade. Look at the base, how it looks like it's dovetailed. Side notched point. There is a little tip damage there. Now, not every point or arrowhead that you find is going to match up to something in a book. Now, I've found things that it was just people thinking out of the box, you know, trying to make something new and different. And the style of knives and dart points and arrowheads, they changed over hundreds of years, thousands of years. Now, this arrowhead looking like something much older, I'm sure is purely coincidental. But just as we find arrowheads laying in creeks, I'm sure they did as well. And who's to say they didn't try to copy something that they found in the creek that was thousands of years older? You know, maybe somebody found an older piece in the creek and tried to copy it, you know, bring back the past. Now, there's no way they knew how old the pieces were they were finding. They had no idea about the people that came before them only a few generations past. We're gonna get back down to the river as soon as the water drops a few more feet. It's still a little high. I was just down there checking it out. There's a lot of mud washed in. But as soon as that water drops, we're gonna be right back down there, probably in a few days if it's decent weather, looking for the good stuff. You come back now.